Evil trailer.
Real. They wanna know.
Hey.
Real.
Hey.
Real.
Hey. I want to be famous.
Welcome to Who Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Bobby Finger,
I'm Lindsay Weber.
and this is a clip from the series premiere of the celebrity dating game starring Zooey Deschanel and Michael Bolton.
All right, so this is the last question of the round. Who do you think I am and why? Bachelor number 2?
Demi Lovato?
Interesting. Bachelor number 3?
You're obviously country. I'm gonna go with just Taylor Swift.
Cool.
Bachelors, our mystery celebrity has just learned a lot about all of you. Too much? Maybe. But now it's time for you to learn a little bit about her. A clue courtesy of Michael Bolton in the only way he knows how to speak about love, in song.
It's just funny because the reveal is that she's literally Hannah Brown from The Bachelor, and they told the men that she's from The Bachelor, so why would they guess Taylor Swift?
Why would they guess Blake Lively and Demi Lovato? Why would they be on this show?
Why does this show exist?
Why is Michael Bolton there? I mean, I know the answer is they're getting paid probably handsomely. But the show is actually more fun than this made it seem. But it is truly weird.
That after she picked the guy and then they were rolling the credits or whatever, you heard their mics. They left their mics on. I think it was on purpose. And she was like, "Have you ever even seen The Bachelor?" And he was like, "Yeah, like I've watched some episodes." Like it was just casual, like too real conversation, like very unscripted, very too real. I was like, this is insane.
Thank you, everyone, and good night from all of us here at the Celebrity Dating Game.
It's nice to meet you.
Actually, the golden retriever gave it away.
Really?
You see, the golden retriever. I remember watching your season. It's like, I'm a dog guy. Picked up on like that.
Wait, so do you watch the show? Like, have you watched The Bachelor?
I have.
Also, show me photographic proof that you went on a date. Like both of these women going out with either of the men that they chose, I just don't see an actual date happening that's beyond like
These
the craft
men got
services table
cast
backstage.
like these men got cast on like the Universal Walk at Universal Studios. Like this is not a real, situation.
Yeah, they want to be on television. It's clear they just want to be on television.
Right.
But the guessing who am I is the best. It reminds me of Masked Singer where they're like, is that Lady Gaga in there? Like, is that my daughter in there? Like, no, it's not. It's Hannah Brown and Nicole
Is that
Byer.
my daughter?
Is that my daughter in there?
It's true.
No.
It's like as likely to be Blake Lively as it is to be like your dead mother, Like it's not happening.
We watched it because we got a call. We got a couple calls saying that it was actually quite cute. And we heard from people that it was actually quite cute. I guess it sort of is, but this is the reason for me. Listening to them guess who they think it is.
I will
Taylor Swift,
not
Demi Lovato, and Blake Lively.
Be watching it, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again. Michael Bolton's thing is sort of, his shtick is funny. He sings famous songs, but rewrites the lyrics to make them about the celebrity. I don't want to talk about this show anymore. You know what I want to talk about, Lindsay?
As you were talking about that. What?
You know what I want to talk about.
Lucas Hedges and Tommy Dorfman spotting holding hands while walking around New York City.
And also Tommy Dorfman strolls around NYC hand in hand with Lucas Hedges. That one is the Just Jared Jr. headline. The one that you read was the Just Jared adult headline. I guess.
Wait,
senior. Just Jared Senior.
Is there even like a subtle difference between the like senior and the junior?
Not really. I don't like, they're not, no, neither one is more like intense than the other one. It's more sexual. I don't know. Both of them are like identical.
Okay, the difference is the senior mentions Lucas Hedges and the junior doesn't. So maybe the junior is like, who is Lucas Hedges?
Right. The junior is like, we got an Academy Award nominee in our midst. We can't mention this person.
Wait, but do we have somebody who starred on Netflix's 13 Reasons Why? We got to put them in. They're the lead, So
They're
maybe
the lead.
that's the difference.
I don't want to say that these photos broke the internet, but they did something to it. Like they moved the
broke
the needle.
your part of the internet.
And so what we saw here was Tommy Dorfman walking the streets of New York, holding hands with Lucas Hedges, who was in short shorts, Daisy Dukes, really long boots. Were they designed? I saw people joking that they were Chanel, but I don't know if they were actually. Oh, they actually were Chanel.
Well, I think that might have been a reference to a movie that I'm now forgetting what reference.
I think The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah,
I think
Chanel
they're
boots.
referencing Devil Wears Prada.
But they did
Are you
look
wearing
like the boots
Fashion.
They did look like the Chanel boots from Devil Wears Prada, didn't they?
Miranda Priestley's office? No, actually, she's not available, but I'll leave word. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Are you wearing the
Chanel boots? Yeah, I am.
You look good.
Yeah, they did. They did. They also
Chanel
looked like the boots from the J-Lo song that Meghan Trainor wrote. What's that song? Oh, Ain't Your Mama.
I do. What? Wait, what?
Remember the Ain't Your... You remember the... You remember the... I just broke your internet. I just broke your brain. Remember the Ain't Your Mama video? Jennifer Lopez's song,
Bobby,
Ain't Your Mama, written
nobody
by
remembers
Meghan Trainor.
the Ain't Your Mama video. That
It's
video
like,
is lost
I
to
ain't cooking out
time.
all day. I ain't your mama.
I remember the
I'm
song.
not doing your laundry. I ain't your mama. And she's wearing like those boots that are like the ones that
Bobby,
like
the
basically go
fact
up to your underboob.
That you remember the video for Jennifer Lopez's Ain't Your Mama is...
Lindsay, happy Pride. Come on, it's okay. Because we were hoping that we would have another smash like I Love Ya Poppy, but we didn't get I Love Ya Poppy again.
I know,
we
the
just
fact
got
that we
Ain't Your
got
Mama.
I Love Ya Poppy, then Ain't Your Mama, it's like, girl, we wanted the other direction.
We don't know if they're dating.
No,
We just know that they're friends.
No one cared. I mean, Tommy Dorfman's married. I mean, that could mean anything, but like Tommy
That could mean
Dorfman's
nothing,
married
yeah.
just as a fact. And remember when they were in a quarantine house with like Margaret Qualley, Cara Delevingne, or something? Remember that? That wasn't that long ago.
And they were like, we're not doing this for 16 months. Sorry, I'm leaving the house.
Right. Like, also, my husband's here. Like, why? Like, what's going on? Anyways, the best was that people were really not focused on whether they're romantically involved. They were focused on Lucas Hedges' boots, you know? And that's, to
They
me,
were focused on Lucas Hedges.
that's the answer.
Right. Lucas Hedges taking fashion and stylistic risks that would perhaps imply that they are not straight. So that was sort of like the why people approach this with that sort of like rabid.
I mean, Lucas Hedges has
Desire.
said that he is on the spectrum of LGBTQ+.
Yes, of course. Of course.
He said when he was in Boy Erased, he said, quote, I recognize myself as existing on that spectrum, not totally straight, but also not gay and not necessarily bisexual. So it's like,
Right.
Lucas Hedges is LGBTQ+, right?
Yes. I think so. I think that's what that's saying. It's just like, it's hard to say exactly what that's saying, but that's sort of what it's implying.
These boots kicked open the door and Ben is back, you know?
Moving on,
The opposite of the Lucas Hedges thing is this Liza Koshy news, which is kind of funny.
where Liza Koshy is like, I am straight. Happy Pride.
Well, she said... No, so she
That's not what happened.
She posted these pictures of her friend Jenna Willis, who is a celebrity trainer and her best friend. And she wrote, happy birthday, baby. I can't wait to see you at the end of the aisle one day. I just have no idea which role you'll play. And people were like, what? Oh, she's gay. Like, end of the aisle. Like, they're getting married. Like, it's marriage. It's like, oh, they're in love. Da-da-da. And then the internet was like, oh, Liza Koshy's gay. Okay, great. Happy Pride. But then she was like, no, wait, no, I'm not. That's just my friend. And she added to the caption, how about my officiant, flower girl, usher, the hot bridesmaid that effortlessly shows up the bride? Regardless, you know you'll be there. Check your inbox for the paperless evite to my non-existent wedding. So it's like, Liza Koshy really fucked this up, right? She wrote this in a way that made it seem like not only was she engaged, or she like getting married, and that this woman was the person that she was maybe engaged. Like, right?
Yeah.
The way that she wrote that is very confusing.
First
And
of
her
all,
fans
which
are
one's
like young.
Which one's Liza Koshy again?
She's like a YouTuber. She used to date David Dobrik. She's like, but she's got her own
dark.
thing. Kind of a
Dark.
yeah, but a big YouTuber.
I think that the caption
Oh, she
actually
hosted.
fine.
Did she? No, she did. She hosted the Vogue red carpet at the Met. Remember that? That was like a big deal. I remember like what's his face
okay.
got mad at her. Andre Leon Talley was like mad at the fact that they like replaced him with Liza Koshy. I'm pretty sure that's right.
That sounds right. Oh yeah, that was her.
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, she's done it twice. Yes. But I think I'm looking at this caption again, and like, I just think that this is like a reading comprehension thing, because even the original caption, I can't wait to see you at the end of the aisle one day. I just have no idea what role you're playing. That if you were certain you were in love with them, then you would know what role they were playing. They would play spouse. But like, I have no idea is definitely like Like, it's exactly what her clarification is. How about officiant, flower girl, usher, the hot bridesmaid? Like, that's all very much implied by the original caption. So, like,
I don't know what role you play. Well, if you were getting married to them, you would be clear on what role they play.
It would be spouse.
Yeah.
It would be spouse. But, like, you can see, like, no offense, but, like, idiots in here. Like, Adam Rippon commented, crying heart. And it's like, I think Adam Rippon was someone who thought that this meant I'm coming out and this is my girlfriend.
Right.
But, like, I guess I understand why she clarified it. I just think that she didn't need to, because to me it reads as like,
okay, but clearly she needed to.
It reads as friendly.
She clearly needed to, though.
But there are certain people who had, if they had done this or a version of this, I would have been like, oh, this was a master plan from the beginning. You wanted the headlines and you wanted the second headline that came from clarifying the headline. But I truly think this threw Liza Koshy for a loop, because her headline just seems pretty innocuous to me. I don't know. It's funny though. Having to amend your caption is funny.
I just think it's
asterisk.
Like, it's like, happy pride, I'm not actually gay. Like, happy pride, but I'm not gay, so sorry.
Camp is all about being extravagant and big, and you've had so many extravagant moments in your life. What would you say is the number one?
Recently, I wore like a money outfit when I performed at like a talk show, and that was kind of sexy and interesting. Because I had my face on the $100 bills, so it was really dope.
So it was real money then?
I guess you could say that.
That's right, that monetary value. Yeah. You're giving me nutritional value tonight. You looking like a 4-course meal. You look good.
Thank you.
Let's move on to a story that is on such shaky ground that we almost shouldn't talk about it, because it could change tomorrow. It could change in 2 hours. It could change as we're recording this.
I hate this story so much. I hate like being introduced to a new Who and it's like a chaos Who, you know? Like Michael Costello is a chaos Who. And I hadn't even heard of him before. I didn't even know what he did. You told me you could have told me he'd done anything, and I would have believed you. You know,
right? You didn't watch that season of Project Runway. He is a Project Runway person.
Oh, he's an alum.
Yeah, he's an alum. He was on many seasons ago. I think he was on it when it was still on Bravo.
Did you watch
it was
season?
A Lifetime season. Oh yeah, I watched his season. That was I was still watching it at that point. I took a break for a few seasons and then I came back.
Michael, you should be very proud of what you've done. You're a great designer, and we all think that you have a great future ahead of you. Michael, I'm sorry you're out. Grazie, Michael.
He didn't win, but he was on long enough to be like, you know, a person people know. If you watch Project Runway, you knew him. And so he is in hot water with Chrissy Teigen, because now that Chrissy Teigen is back on the internet, back online, after posting her Medium apology and, you know, all the fallout from Courtney Stodden.
Where we left off was that Chrissy Teigen finally got called out for these very cruel tweets she wrote about Courtney Stodden back in the day. That mixed with a lot of other things had her kind of a little bit called out, and she said, I'm taking a break from the internet. We know those don't last very long. Anyways, she came back X days later, wrote a Medium letter apologizing, all of that. Okay, fine, right?
She started her like rehabilitation journey. Okay. Then Michael Costello, who is a fashion designer, as we said, who was on Project Runway, posts an Instagram story that is honestly quite shocking. And in this story, he says that starting 7 years ago in 2014, Chrissy Teigen had seen a story about Michael Costello writing something racist, saying something racist, and calling him out on it in the comments. And she says that she deleted that comment because apparently the thing that Michael Costello had said that was racist was photoshopped and not true. Michael Costello says that after
the
Chrissy
irony of
wrote
this
and deleted,
story is like, she saw a photoshopped thing. She commented. She found out that was photoshopped. She deleted the comment. That's what that's her side of the story.
That's her side of the story. Michael Costello says that actually she didn't just delete the comment and move on. She sent him harassing DMs on Instagram, not only, calling him despicable, calling him racist, but threatening his career and saying that she would do everything in her power to make sure that he never really works in this industry again.
And he had screenshots of the conversation that he posted. And so it felt very like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But it also felt like those matched kind of the tone of the Courtney Stodden thing. So people were kind of just like, what is going on here? Okay.
And there were kind of obvious tells that the screenshots were a little fishy. But like Lindsay said, it was the tone that we have come to expect from Chrissy of that era.
I'm not sure you could tell that they were fishy unless you really looked, but you could tell. But if you don't look at screenshots and think immediately, are these real, then you're not looking at enough screenshots, because the thing with that is like there's always a very good chance that anything in that screenshot is manipulated. So that's the first part of the story. The second part of the story, after Michael Costello comes out and says Chrissy Teigen bullied me too, a makeup artist comes out and says, Michael Costello actually sexually harassed me when I was going through chemotherapy. And here I come because I see he's now coming after somebody else. So, at the same time, Leona Lewis, iconic who, as stated by this podcast, and I guess never changing,
exactly.
She said that Michael Costello had bullied her because
he's an asshole.
Like he was supposed to dress her for some charity thing, and then she didn't fit in the dress, and he refused to change it to fit her. She said that she was sorry to see what Michael went through, and she's not trying to discount his experience, but she doesn't believe that we should knock people down when they're showing remorse for their actions. She means Chrissy Teigen. So you have two people come out against him and saying, wait. You are not an angel from heaven.
If you're going to be throwing out all of these old stories, I have some stories to throw out as well.
Right. No, then what happens is the Chrissy Teigen's team reaches out to a reporter and says that the messages that Michael Costello is posting are doctored, and the reporter does reporting, Kat Tenbarge for Business Insider, and says actually there are many issues with this screenshot in that it doesn't even match what Facebook looked like at the time. The colors are wrong. Right. Some of the avatar for Chrissy Teigen is wrong. It doesn't match what it would have been at the time, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And if he would have taken the screenshots when the colors were there, she would have had a verified account. This reporter does the work to really scrutinize these screenshots. After that, Chrissy Teigen releases a statement on her Instagram page that is it's so formal that I thought it was fake at first, because it says statement released on behalf of Chrissy Teigen.
Well,
and
it's weird because she can't help herself, because when she tweets no idea what the fuck Michael Costello is doing, and it's from her own voice, but then the screenshot that she includes is a message essentially from lawyers.
Written by a lawyer, yeah. So it's here's my commentary, here's what the lawyer said, I was approved to say.
And then the statement is very much buttoned up. But it's also very specific, because it says Chrissy Teigen did comment something on this guy's Instagram, but she deleted it after she found out that those were screenshots. Yeah.
Then, this is the wildest part to me, John Legend quote tweets a link to the Business Insider story tweeted by New York Times internet reporter Taylor Lorenz, and says Chrissy apologized for her public tweets, but after her apology, Mr. Costello fabricated a DM exchange between them. This exchange was made up, completely fake, never happened. Receipts below. And you sort of no one wants to be involved here, but I just think it's funny that John Legend, who is so milk toast, so eggshell paint, nothing, it's just so boring, having to find himself in the middle of these minefields that Chrissy has planted. And honestly, good on him for doing this, but he's basically, I publicly have her back too. This isn't just Chrissy. I'm stepping up as the husband. I'm you know what? I support my wife.
I mean, of course.
Then people are right. People are Michael Costello, what's going on? Everyone's reaching out to Michael Costello, and he releases a statement to E! News that says, the fact that Chrissy Teigen's team is desperately trying to prove the DMs are fake and attempts to discredit Michael Costello, a victim of trauma and bullying by Chrissy Teigen both online and offline, confirms that she remains the same bully despite her public apology. So basically what he's doing is I will not back down. I'm getting nothing but evidence that proves that what I'm saying is, or that suggests that what I'm saying is a lie, but I will not back down. And that is basically the stance that he has taken and is taking as of Monday morning.
He also was I'm leaving the internet. Like I'm logging off.
I
right
went
now.
private.
And so I'm kind of like, it's interesting that it's like seems like you got caught in your own lie while trying to call out somebody who you thought you could get while she was like down in that way, you know?
She's not. Remember when she launched that
yeah, I saw that.
That brand with Kris Jenner about like
it's like cleaning
products called Safely.
Yeah.
Well, then Safely released a statement on Instagram stories. That's I don't know why this is so funny to me, but it was like they literally released like one photo shoot of Chrissy Teigen and Kris Jenner like hovering over this line of cleaning products like in full glam. It's so
launched
strange.
at the worst possible time.
Right at the worst possible time. And now it's apparently done. Chrissy's not going to be involved with these healthy cleaning products. And they released a statement that says, Chrissy will be stepping away from Safely to take much needed time to focus on herself and also much needed time. When is she not focused on herself and be with her family? We fully support her decision and are so thankful for her contributions. The brand will continue to move forward and focus on our important mission of bringing high quality, hard-working cleaning products to all American households.
How mad is Chris? Chris is so
Chris is furious.
She's like,
Chris had a
I don't want to
perfect
do this
partner.
all by myself.
Do you think she'll find a replacement? Or do you think she'll do it alone?
I think she'll just keep doing it.
She'll bring in Chloe.
And Chrissy clearly doesn't want to do it because she probably doesn't want to. She probably wants to chill out and take a break as expected. But also, I bet Chris had her lined up for a bunch of marketing shit that would have exposed her to kind of questions about this when she's just trying to promote like cleaning products, you know? And so it's not worth it to like go on The View and be like, my cleaning products, and then The View like asks you about these like bullying situations and you're like, oh fuck, you know? And so I think that's probably what they're like, just take her off of this for now, you know, because she doesn't want to deal with that type of questioning, even if it seems like in this situation she did nothing wrong. I mean, she apologized for the other thing, which again doesn't make it disappear, but it does, you know, mean that she's at least thinking about and takes responsibility for what she said, which was pretty brutal.
Yeah. And it looks like she started the company with that woman who I guess is involved, is somehow must be, in addition to being an entrepreneur, just must be friends with the Kardashian Jenner family, Emma Grede. You know, she's the one who co-founded Good American with Chloe.
Oh, it's
and
like
she also
she's
works
like
on
a
Skims.
Yeah, she's like a serial entrepreneur who like underwrites essentially, or like undercreates the
Who was
products that
attached to
are. I bet her job is to come up with products that match the kind of thematics around the Kardashian that she's working with. Oh,
And
Kylie,
also-
your lips are too small. Let's do lip liner. Oh, Chloe, you're all about body positivity. Let's do an all-inclusive jean line. Oh, Chris, you're like a mother. But you're busy. You're on the go. Let's do like cleaning material. You know, I bet it's
Or
like
like,
that's
oh,
the thing.
quote unquote, like all natural cleaning materials are trendy right now. Let's
Sure,
do
that
something
too.
here. You
Right,
know, like
of course.
she probably does like a lot of market analysis and figure stuff out.
Right.
But it's funny that like she is clearly just the brains behind all these things, but it's not really one of the like faces of all the products. But
Oh my
it
God,
seems like
somebody
she'd be a great face of products.
profile this woman. Am I right? Like
There are some Q&As with her, but like she could use a real profile. Like look at all the stuff that she has her hands in. Like Skims alone is huge.
I know.
Huge. Still.
Yeah.
Casey Musgraves was wearing Skims on the streets of New York a couple
On
days
the
ago. And I was
streets
like, oh, right,
of
Skims.
New York? No, everybody's wearing Skims. Skims is hot. Like, and that's what she probably did. She probably recognized that Kim Kardashian had this like story about having because remember the story of Skims is like Kim wanted to wear a one-legged thing, but she had to
right.
cut her own shapewear or whatever. It's like that's how Skims came into play. Yeah.
What is interesting
A little
is that
interesting.
Millie Bobby Brown is dating the heir to the Bon Jovi pasta sauce empire himself, Jacob Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi's
I
son.
can't believe that Millie Bobby Brown is dating this pasta sauce heir. Incredible. And also it's alleged. It's alleged, by the way. We don't know.
I mean, look at this photo of them both doing duck face in a car. That's love to me.
Millie was spotted holding hands with the heir to the Bon Jovi pasta sauce fortune, who is named Jake, who is an actor, he says in his Instagram, but like I don't know what he acts in.
I haven't seen him in anything, yeah.
Yeah, so I can't really, you know, speak to that.
He's dating one of the most powerful women in Hollywood, honestly. I don't even think that's a joke. It's the truth. He'll be on a Netflix show in no time.
MBB is the most powerful woman in Hollywood?
One of the most powerful women in Hollywood, I would say.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. All
right? Don't you think?
Maybe according to Just Jared Jr., I don't know.
I trust Just Jared Jr. I like this Hollywood Life feature about like things to know about Jake Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Two great things. One, he's a fan of U.S. Senator Cory Booker, okay, because he's from New Jersey, obviously. And two, he resembles his dad. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
I mean, he wished his dad a happy Father's Day in a photo that is honestly truly iconic. We've got John Bon hat on. We got Jake Bon somehow sunglasses on inside. They do look a lot like. This looks like it was taken 100 years ago. I love it. Has Millie Bobby Brown tried the pasta sauce?
Not yet.
What?
Not yet.
What?
I don't think yet.
Okay.
I think it's a joke at this point. I also think that it's funny to me that like the reminder that his last name is not Bon Jovi, Bonjovi, because Jake's last name is Bon Jovi, like the Italian Bon
Like the
Jovi
sauce.
thing. Like,
yeah.
It would just be funny. Like if you were John Bon Jovi, wouldn't you just make that your last name and make your kid's last name Bon Jovi? Jake Bon Jovi?
No, because then they would be like, "Oh, okay, great, we get it. Your dad is in Bon Jovi." This is a little bit like separated. It's like, "Oh no, I'm actually Bon Jovi." You know, it's like, "Oh, it's a little different."
Bon Jovi.
And then when you make the pasta sauce, it sounds more, more authentic.
I just have yet to see any proof that she has gone to dinner at like the Bon Jovi compound. And if that happens, I'm sure the pasta sauce will be on the table, literally.
It better be.
And figuratively.
Can you imagine John Bon Jovi's dad serving her the famous pasta sauce? And they're like, "Oh, get the pasta sauce out of here."
Here's my even more elaborate reasoning for why she hasn't had the pasta sauce. I think that John Bon Jovi's dad is a savvy businessman and probably quite aggressive when it comes to like getting people to do what he wants. If Millie Bobby Brown had tasted the John Bon Jovi pasta sauce, he would have asked her to post it on in her Instagram, and she would have been like, ha ha ha, maybe. And he's like, no, and maybe hovered over her until she did it.
What is this fan fiction that you're writing about the creator of Bon Jovi pasta sauce?
I think that he wants a little social lift, and he thinks that Millie Bobby Brown's the perfect person to do it for him. I think that she's kind, and she would have done it had he
You're
asked.
spinning quite the yarn about the Bon Jovi family.
I mean, we've been doing it for weeks at this point.
I mean, I just didn't know you were in so deep. I don't know if I didn't know you'd crafted this entire novella based around kind of this family and their secrets.
Millie at the Bon Jovi household eating the Garden style variety. That's the one that we think is
That's the one that
classic.
has vegetables in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
green peppers.
interesting. Okay, interesting,
Mm-hmm.
But I
what
need
else
it.
is interesting?
What else is do another weird transition. What else is interesting?
LaLa Anthony and Carmelo divorced.
I know, I saw that.
That's surprising.
Maybe. I feel like we've heard things about them. Who's the who in this? LaLa? Is LaLa a who?
I think LaLa's the who for sure. I think
Carmelo
LaLa's a who.
is not a who, I don't think.
Carmelo is not a who. LaLa is absolutely
LaLa's kind of a who. That's true,
Mm-hmm.
because like while she's kind of everywhere, it's kind of for all hooey reasons usually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But they broke up, and then I thought it was interesting. The timing came a couple of days before Father's Day. But on Father's Day, LaLa wrote like posted a very sweet photo of Carmelo and their son, and was like, "Happy Father's Day."
You know who LaLa's tight with too?
Kim.
Yeah, and Kim and LaLa
Yeah.
are now having divorces at the same time. I find that just like a little interesting.
Well, now maybe if Kim finally fucking passed the bar, Kim could be LaLa's divorce lawyer.
I'm sorry,
she's
whatever
not passing
bar
the bar.
Kim is passing, I don't think she could even be qualified to be LaLa's divorce lawyer. Didn't she fail it twice? How are we getting this information? I don't even know if I want this
On the
information.
show.
I know, that's true.
And she's like embarrassed that she did it, but it's like, Kim, you're failing it because you're not really trying. You're not like really going to school. You think that you can just be a lawyer.
This is a great like advertisement for how hard the bar is, Like it's not easy.
California bar especially.
Yeah.
I don't even know anything about the law, and I know that the California bar
It's
is the
supposed
hard
to be
bar.
hard because you don't have to go to law school to take it.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be really hard because otherwise they would make you go to law school. And clearly Kim is not going to law school.
No. I could not believe that photo, that screenshot from Kim Kardashian Hollywood. What was it? it was on Juneteenth, and they posted something about how they were donating money from Kim Kardashian Hollywood to a number of charities. But I was like, I cannot believe that this game is still like on the server somewhere and active, functioning, but also making enough money where they can like be that charitable with stuff. It must still be huge, right?
I mean, it must be, but you never hear about it anymore. But it maybe has like a long tail. I always see them, they like introduce like new features to it. Sometimes it gets press and you're like, are we sure anyone's playing this, you know?
Well, is it like how my mom still has a Yahoo email address? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but a Yahoo email address is like not functional. You have to go play this game. It's not like it just exists in your life, you know?
It's so strange.
OMG, you guys. Can you believe that it's been 7 years since I launched Kim Kardashian Hollywood? We gave the video game a whole new makeover. It looks so good. You guys can now make a squad with your friends and earn lots of rewards to use in the game. I'm obsessed. You guys are gonna love it. There's even a chance to win a shopping spree at Saks.
Chloe Bailey's in trouble. People cannot deal with Chloe Bailey being sexy.
They can't really deal with Chloe Bailey doing anything, which I think is so frustrating because like
it is annoying.
These two are trying to like separate a little bit and have like a little bit of their own moments. Like Halle is off filming The Little Mermaid. And Chloe is performing Nina Simone at the Juneteenth special on ABC, Juneteenth: Together We Triumph. And she also performed it today on Good Morning America. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I did, like this morning?
Yeah, she performed it again and didn't do the quote unquote sexy stuff. She said
she just did a more like traditional version?
Yeah, she said this is too early for me to like, you know. This is too early
funny. She probably
for me to
there
drop
at 4
it to Nina Simone. But yeah, I mean, first of all, she did an amazing rendition. She did her own version of it. I mean, it sounds similar, but she kind of played with it. She used her own like she has like an amazing register. She took it all the way up and took it all the way down. And people were like, stop grinding to Feeling Good. And it's like, why?
I've always been in love with Nina Simone's rendition of Feeling Good and just feeling her joy and the pain and everything in her voice within that song. I wanted to make it my own.
And so that's when a lot of people were mad at her, but then she got the cosign from the ultimate Nina Simone expert, Nina Simone's granddaughter, Rihanna Simone.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bossip. Bossip was like, leave her alone, which I loved.
Bossip
said,
loved it.
We honestly feel like Chloe Bailey can't catch a break. Sis minds her business, but somehow seems to trend on Twitter nonstop about either her sexual ways, gorgeous demeanor, or great performances. And they're right.
No,
because they're seeing all this day after day. It's like, she can't do anything without people being like, what? You know? And it's like, Jesus Christ, relax.
But you really can't fault her talent. Like that's the thing. People are only going after her for those superficial things, you know? Like it's ridiculous. So anyway, Nina Simone's granddaughter was like, everyone's coming at Chloe Bailey, and she added her for a performance of my grandmother Nina Simone's
Rihanna
song.
Simone Kelly.
Yes. Nina Simone's song Feeling Good. But what y'all don't understand is that grandma was a free-spirited woman herself. She would have loved that performance as much as I do. Relax, Chloe killed it. # Nina Simone. And I was like, that's nice. But then I realized, didn't I just see Nina Simone's granddaughter like in the headlines recently? And I did, because there is this huge battle that has been happening for years and years and years and years and years. Basically ever since Nina Simone died in 2003, but even long before that.
Well, once this tweet got attention, the Chloe Bailey one, she followed it up being like, hey, I'm actually, like, because a lot of people maybe hadn't heard that of her. So she said, I'm Nina Simone's granddaughter, and we actually aren't in charge of the estate anymore because of this. So she kind of like brought it back to the forefront as well, even though it was in the news not so long ago.
Mm-hmm. And so she was saying that when Kamala Harris was Attorney General, she oversaw this case that ultimately led to like them not winning. It's really complicated. I really did try my best to figure out the details of this, but it's kind of tale as old as time in the music industry sense, in a way that like a record label and the lawyer surrounding an artist who is now dead are like trying to take all of the rights to the music of the dead person. And the family is like kind of left out in the wind. And they're like, but wait, what about us? And that's kind of the extreme Cliff's Notes
The
version
Daily
of this.
Beast wrote a good piece about it where they looked into the court documents of what was actually going on and whatever
so fucked up.
happened. There is evidence that Nina Simone's granddaughter, this woman, was accused of, quote, breaching her fiduciary duty to the estate and trust by moving money into her own personal company that maybe should not have been there. No, not maybe. It shouldn't have been there.
It shouldn't have been there.
According to the Daily Beast, who looked at these court documents, and this was why she was taken off the estate trust in terms of being the overseer. So that is technically, according to the courts, what happened.
Right. But then whenever you dig into the actual history, you can't help but think that, like, while yes, what Rihanna did probably wasn't legal, but did she deserve to do that? Probably, because Nina Simone's like music and like a lot of her money has been like taken from her over the course of her life. So it sort of feels like she was owed it and knew that there was no way she was going to get it from the courts, but she got caught when she did it this way. At least that's how it reads to me. But like every story about Nina Simone, like every profile of her, every biography of Nina Simone mentions these things where she gets into these battles with people over royalty payments, over just being paid for her work. And there's this really good part in this story, I think it's from Believer from forever ago, but she says, typical of Simone was a 1961 show at New York's Apollo Theater when she refused to perform to a packed house until she was paid in cash. When told the money was in an envelope on the piano, Simone walked on stage to wild cheers only to sit down and count the money out bill by bill.
You know who also did this? I think Aretha Franklin. She did that a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
But she did it, and then after she counted everyone, everything laughed, and she said, don't applaud. Don't applaud, you don't love me, and then whatever. I'm actually cut that part. But yeah, that's a thing she did. But it's like, this is an ongoing thing that didn't just begin with her death. It's been going on forever. And
it's just funny that it took a Chloe Bailey
performance.
slightly, incendiary Chloe Bailey performance of Feelin' Good on a Juneteenth ABC special to kind of get this information to my brain. To now that I know that Nina Simone's granddaughter is like, cut out of the family, whatever. So who oversees Nina Simone's,
it's
trust or whatever?
It's these lawyers.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's these lawyers, because there are a couple of lawyers who claim, it's a lawyer and then some other like agent, and they claim that not long before Nina's death, they got these weird rights where it's like, oh, if you work really hard to get these rights back from Sony or these other labels back to me, then you can have a percentage of the rights. And so they did it so many times that like they somehow own all of these, like, or a percentage of these rights to her music because they worked to take it back from the label. So that's one thing. But then the label also, like, there's this whole thing with like reproduction rights that like Sony still claims or something. Like it's so complicated, I feel stupid even talking about it.
Yeah.
But the family basically got screwed out of this.
Right.
They got screwed out of it, and they're mad about it, and it makes sense. And the only reason she brought it up now is because of the Chloe Bailey performance.
Yeah, I guess Chloe Bailey, though, she must have seen the response because she toned it down for GMA. But maybe she was planning to tone it down for GMA anyways, Also,
like she said, it's a little early to be that horny,
Yeah, and it was a pretty, like, sexy performance. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I thought it was really cool. And also the version she does herself is pretty cool, too. And the version was the same. She did, like, a similar...
It is weird that they are both absolutely still who's, and I wonder what the Little Mermaid will do to their rising themdom.
I mean, and both Little Mermaid stars are who's too, like both Prince Eric and Halle Bailey.
Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Sing to the bar, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. And the soul is in the wild and the boy.
I'm Sharon McMahon, host of Here's Where It Gets Interesting. Each week, I speak with authors, experts, and thought leaders on everything from American history and democracy to how to be a better person on the internet. And don't miss my extremely popular docuseries, which educate you on things you never learned in history class. Follow and listen to Here's Where It Gets Interesting on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's next?
Quick hits. I'll do it. I'll do them quickly.
I love
Let me
quick
lead.
hits.
Let
Okay.
me lead. Okay.
I can't do anything quickly. Okay.
Miley Cyrus X / Brody Jenner X, Caitlyn Carter. Remember her?
Mm-hmm. How could I forget? Yeah.
She got married to Brody Jenner in Bali, but like not legally, and then dated Miley Cyrus and like caused a tiff and whatever, then disappeared from whatever. She is now pregnant. Her boyfriend is Christopher Brock, who is a fashion designer who briefly was linked to Amber Heard and has a fashion label called the Brock Collection with his ex-wife, Laura Vassar. Okay. Anyways, Caitlyn Carter's pregnant, and there was a lot of this like weird tabloid stuff about how Brody Jenner's mom like commented like, congrats, and everyone's like, well, I guess that's settled. You know, I guess that's good with them. Number 2, the Winklevoss Twins. Remember them?
I hate this.
From
I
the
hate
Social
this. I
Network,
hate this.
aka the Facebook twins who now are into Bitcoin. They've started a band, according to Page 6. We hear 6 members of the group play to a dozen guests at Cameron's NoHo Loft this week. Okay, they're literally just playing like in Cameron Winklevoss's apartment. This doesn't count. Page 6, shut the fuck up. Okay. Then next we have Ana de Armas has a new boyfriend. And speaking of, tech entrepreneurs like the Winklevoss twins, he is this guy who helps run Tinder. Wait, Tinder, right? Yeah.
Tinder.
His name is Paul.
That's wild.
Paul Bugadakis. And this headline says Ana de Armas is enjoying her time with Paul Bugadakis after removing IG pic of Ben Affleck. She removed it. Did you see that? She removed
Scandalous.
the pic.
So it was because fans kept commenting on the pic and it was annoying her.
I guess. And I'm reading.
They're like, we miss you. We miss Ben Anna.
This is from the Hollywood
Life.
This is from Hollywood Life. And this source is so specific about the mechanism of IG that I'm like, this has to be real. Let me read you this.
Tell me this is not Ana de Armas.
The romance rumors come after Ana deleted a photo of her and Ben below on Instagram sometime within the last month. According to The Insider, the comments had become too much for the star. Quote, people kept commenting about their past relationship on it, and it was just best to take it down to avoid the whole thing, The Insider told HL. She decided to keep another photo of them up because she'd posted it from her birthday last year, which was buried in a slide of pics because it wasn't the cover photo. I'm sorry. Like, just the specific, information about the way that Instagram works. It's like she kept a photo of Ben Affleck up because it wasn't the main photo on her. It wasn't the front of the carousel.
It wasn't the cover.
It was
so the fans
in the
weren't
carousel.
finding the photo easily.
Well, the fans know exactly where that photo is, but it's not as glaring, I guess, as the photo that she deleted. Right?
I think that's pretty funny, but it's also what's especially funny about this is that it reminds me that I went from wanting nothing but Ana de Armas news to kind of forgetting that she exists in the span of ever since they were spotted in Montana. Ever since J-Lo and Ben were spotted in Montana, Ana de Armas was wiped from my memory, kind of.
Yeah, I mean...
fully just wiped.
I mean, it helped, Armas Updates, Ana de Armas Updates was really helping fuel the excitement over this woman, and then she dated Ben Affleck, and that was exciting for us. But you're right, now I'm kind of okay, what's next? You're gonna have to keep
What's next?
You're gonna have to keep it spicy, and I'm not sure dating a guy who founded Twitter is that spicy to me. But that's okay.
No.
Maybe it's spicy to her. Okay, we're moving along. Uma Thurman is dating the news.
I did find the photo of Ana de Armas with Ben Affleck in the thing, and it is cute. It's a sexy photo. The photo that she left up, he's clutching her arm. It's cute.
Next up, Uma Thurman is reportedly dating Bloomberg Media CEO Justin B. Smith. Quote, I'm a news lover. And here's the thing. Uma Thurman loves the news, and that's really funny to me.
It was revealed in a write-up of a party. It was revealed in
a party
party
report.
piece.
Yeah, a party report about DC, which is insane. The New York Times subtly announced their relationship status in a write-up of a party at Smith's Washington, D.C. home in the upscale Colorama. I don't even know where the hell that is. Neighborhood. Okay, if you say so. Then the write-up was, quote, also, the actress Uma Thurman, who is dating Mr. Smith, writer Sean McCreesh slipped in at the end of a paragraph listing off the guests, which included some media who's who. Quote, actually, I'm a news lover, Thurman said of the crowd. That's a weird way to write that. Did she say that to him, or did she say...
we don't have the details about like when that was slipped into a conversation. Was she addressing them?
Did he ask, are you dating Justin B. Smith? And she said, no, actually, I'm a news lover. That's why I'm here. You know what I mean?
Let's find out. Hold on.
One eternity later.
What's very kind of weird about this is it's wrapped up. It's not just a normal party report. It's about like Washington. The Washington society scene is back. The headline is Washington society steps back out. Like a grizzly waking from hibernation, the ruling class is coming out of this thing with an appetite.
Like a grizzly?
And it's talking about this very specific party or series of parties that have been happening recently in DC. You look at the photos, they truly look like, wow, pandemic is over, not a mask in sight, people everywhere, everyone's having a good time, like COVID-19 who? And then it looks like 10 paragraphs in, it says... Spirits were high at the Colorama home of Justin B. Smith, the executive of Bloomberg Media Group. Okay. The first good DC media party of the summer is funny. The first good DC media party of the summer. The journalists who gathered
if you had a party like in the summer,
I know.
Like, and they were like,
it's very rude.
Your party
It's
sucks.
definitely, if you were in Washington, D.C. society, you know what that means. That is definitely a read. Okay. The journalists who gathered for sea scallops and lamb toast included the editor of The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, the Washington Post columnist, Jonathan Capehart, Jonathan Swan of Axios, and Abby Phillip of CNN. Also, the actress Uma Thurman, who was dating Mr. Smith. Okay, that's the house that they were at.
That's the reveal.
Ms. Thurman, then there's like two big photos. There's like a photo of Paul Ryan chatting with someone. There's like this beautiful photo of shadows. And then Ms. Thurman likes DC. Quote, I welcomed and was spiritually fascinated by the cicada that just crawled across my finger, she said, holding a flute of pink pétillant naturel. She has battled Batman, been shot full of rock salt, and buried alive, at least in character. But has she ever seen anything as disturbing as 25 reporters in one place attempting to socialize? Quote, Actually, I'm a news lover.
Oh my God.
I really appreciate people like Caitlin, she said, referring to the CNN correspondent Caitlin Collins, also in attendance.
Wow, the quote from wherever I got this from Us Weekly or whatever, from People.
They left out the fun
stuff.
They
left out everything that made that good.
They really left, like, this is good scene setting.
Oh my God, when she says, are you intimidated to be surrounded by all these titans of media? And she said, actually, I'm a news lover.
She's like, I'm the fucking bride. I was in Kill Bill Parts 1 and 2. You think I was in Pulp Fiction?
You think I'm intimidated by CNN's blah, blah, blah and Axios? No, bitch. That's a website.
I was married to Ethan Hawke. Have you ever met his ass? Like, no, I'm not intimidated by Jonathan Swan.
My daughter's in Stranger Things and up and coming. She's Hollywood's 30 under 30. You think I'm scared of the Atlantic guy? What's the Atlantic?
This is so disrespectful to Uma Thurman the more I think about this.
I know. They're like, how do you fare around all these like media, the men of media, the powers of media? The
only thing worse than like media reporting and party reporting are when both of those things are combined, because it's just like, get off of each other's dicks. Who cares? This is not intimidating.
But just so funny, like this media reporter like comes across Uma Thurman and it has to like reckon with her. It's like, will Uma Thurman be able to fit into this DC crowd? It's like, yes, bitch, she can fit anywhere. She was in the car. She was completely paralyzed. What else has she done? She walked the streets of Paris and before sunset, after sunset, and then the other ones.
That wasn't her. That was...
Who was it? Damn it.
Julie Delpy.
What other movies has Uma Thurman been in? Oh my God, she was Poison Ivy.
She was Poison Ivy, yes.
Literally, she was Bruce Wayne's girlfriend. Bruce Wayne is also a titan of media. Right? Oh my God, whoa.
Oh my God, he was.
Fuck.
Also, we're just glossing over the line. I welcomed and was spiritually fascinated by the cicada that just crawled across my finger.
can't. I really thought she was in Before Sunset for a second. She's not.
No, she's not at all. She's
This
not at all.
woman was in Pulp Fiction and had the needle stuck in her at the party. She's been to every fucking weird party there's ever been.
She had the needle stuck in her.
Remember that?
Right. Yes, I remember the needle going into her in
I'm
Pulp
just
Fiction.
saying,
That's the
like-
part you remember.
Like, get out of here with this. Get out of here with this. Oh, God. I'm
I hate when-
sorry.
It's like Salma Hayek. Like, I get it, but like, I'm so bored when these like, I mean, I support it. I love it. I'm not telling you like don't do this, but it is like it's such a cliche at this point for like the Hollywood actor, though, like woman in Hollywood who has had like her moment, her time in the sun, her time to shine, being the it girl who's dating someone else in Hollywood, who is like, you know what, I'm done with this, getting a divorce and then dating just some rando fucking rich guy, you know?
Yeah.
I like it. I'm happy for them, but it's a little boring. Thank God this version of it isn't that boring, specifically because of this party.
Sorry,
But, like,
now
what
I'm
is there to
thinking
say about this guy?
I'm thinking about
Nothing.
her in The Truth of Cats and Dogs, and I'm like, what if Uma is dating him, but actually she's the stand-in
Janine Garofalo.
for Janine? What if they're playing a little trick on Justin B. Smith? Also,
Hold
who the
on.
hell is Justin B. Smith? I'm like,
Do you want to know who Justin B. Smith is?
he's the CEO of Bloomberg Media.
He was in politics first, which explains the
I'm just saying, like, Michael B. Jordan would like a word with Justin B. Smith. Just any man sticking a B in there. Just now, any man can do that. Can take a name that's boring and we've heard before and stick a B in there. Is that a thing?
Adam Jones. Thank God. One hoped you were dead.
Closed down any good restaurants lately?
I don't close good restaurants. My reviews close bad ones.
Moving on, though, speaking of good relationships, because we talked about kind of boring Who relationships. These are two good ones. Uma dating a Who, but Uma's obviously the winner. Padma's dating someone new. Padma's dating
There were
someone
photos
new.
of
And it's not
Padma.
Richard Gere.
There were photos of Padma, who has had a storied dating history, which we've gotten into before, so we really don't need to get into it again, but has dated really the range, you know, just from literary to billionaire,
Literary
to
titans to billionaires to
just-
club owners.
just literally everyone. You can
to Richard Gere.
We've talked about it, right? Briefly, Richard Gere. Anyway, she was spotted smooching over the mask, which means that she knew that there were cameras because it was kind of a little bit of a
It's funny.
showy thing.
It's a
She
gag.
was spotted smooching a really well-known and pretty famous poet within the world of poetry named Terrance Hayes. And I am not a big modern poetry person, or really at all. Who am I? I'm not a big.
I was like, wait a second. Or not modern poetry. Yeah, Lindsay loves the classics. Lindsay loves the classics.
I've read a poem or four.
Here a quack, there a quack, everywhere a quack.
All
quack.
right, bitch. I've read a poem, okay? I know poems. Anyways, modern poetry is really its own subsect is what I'm saying. And he is a celebrity within that world because I was Googling him and it's like the dude has been written about 1 million times. He also won a National Book Award and a MacArthur Fellowship and a Guggenheim Fellowship. So he's got all the big
MacArthur genius.
He's got all the
big
all
boy
the things,
awards,
right?
He's got all the ones you can get, basically. He's like the EGOT of poets.
That's what I'm saying.
He
It's
has the
like
EGOT of poetry.
you thought Padma was the power player in this relationship. In a New York Times profile from 2015, this is what somebody wrote about him. Okay. Famous poet seems like an oxymoron, but Terrance seems to deliver something for a lot of people. When she saw him at a crowded writers' convention 2 years ago, she was like, quote, "It was like groupies with Mick Jagger." This was like a poet friend of Hayes who said, literally, because People magazine named Hayes among its candidates for sexiest man alive.
This is 2014, yeah.
Pretty funny.
Unreal. But like, it is really funny because we had someone call into the show actually and talk about this. A poet hooligan called in and was like breathless with excitement over this because they were like, Terrance is huge. You don't understand. I understand that you don't understand because no one cares about poets at all.
Right.
But like, this is enormous.
I'm Terrance Hayes, and my collection is American Sonnets for My Past and Future Assassin. Are you not the color of this country's current threat advisory and of pom-poms at a school whose mascot is the clementine. Color of the quartered cantaloupe beside the tiers of easily bruised bananas cowering in towers of yellow skin, and of Caligula's copper-toned jabberjaw jammed with grapes shaped like the eyeballs of blind people. Light as a featherweight monarch, viceroy, goldfish, pomp and pumpkin pompadour, are you not a flame of hollow hellos and hell no's?
The greatest move is that poets.org tweeted this like a couple of hours
This is an
after
amazing
the Padma
flex.
news broke.
Yeah.
Poets.org just suddenly tweets, there's no context, but like, if you know, you know. They tweet a poem from Terrance Hayes. They have no idea what I am. Terrance Hayes.
I mean...
And then they link to his poem, What I Am. And it's like, that's gotta be a reference to the news, the quote-unquote news.
It is.
Because he was, don't forget, he was a mystery man before he was identified as Terrance Hayes, which is peak poetry, where everyone's like, oh, who is this like hottie that Padma's smooching over the mask? It's a poet. That's why you didn't know it. You know?
It's a poet. That's why you didn't know it.
His ex-wife was another famous poet named Yona Harvey.
Uh-huh.
And they met in like very traditional poetry ways. Like they met at like a poetry
I'm
convention.
sorry, very traditional poetry ways?
I don't know. Even as I said that, I was like, what the fuck are you talking
They were a poetry power couple is what you're saying.
They were a poetry power couple. Then they divorced. And now he is like dating fucking Padma Lakshmi. Like, she's a them. She's a them. We did this recently.
Right. And like he's a them in poetry land. But I hadn't heard of him. So I feel, you know, first of all, I feel uneducated because I'm like, oh, I didn't even know of this famous poet. But now I do. And now I'm like, wow, that's a get.
And I'm like reading all of his poetry. Well, it's funny that like it is a joke among poets, where it's like even when we're successful, no one knows who we are. And we talk about this a lot. It must be like,
I gotta say, like, Amanda Gorman, right? Like breakthrough poet of 2021. But when was the last time a poet was breakthrough? You know, like there really is no vehicle. I think that's the issue, is there's no vehicle for a poet to take the main stage in that way, right? That was such a specific experience where, oh, this woman got up and said a poem at the inauguration because that was part of the inaugural tradition, right? And so there's only an inauguration once every 4 years. And where else do we celebrate poetry aside from like in school? You know, there's no other way for a poet to be like, oh, a hotshot poet, you know?
What's funny is that when you Google most famous poets, which I just did because I'm a fucking plebe, you will get this funny list. And just wait until we're in the 20th century once, but still. All of the photos are black and white until 1, 2, 3,
it's
4,
all
5,
old people. It's
6,
all
7,
dead people.
8, 9, 10, until
Right.
10. 1, William Shakespeare. 2, Robert Frost. 3, Emily Dickinson. 4, Edgar Allan Poe. 5, William Wordsworth. 6, William Yeats. 7, Walt Whitman. 8, Sylvia Plath. Okay, we're in the 20th century. 9, John Keats. And it's not until number 10 that you get to Maya Angelou, who died in the 21st century.
Right. It's
not until then that you get someone who was alive recently.
Right. Probably the most famous poet of recent history.
Of the last like generation or two.
Right.
Maya Angelou. Rupi Kaur, I guess, is like
right. You're right.
Someone, but even at Rupi Kaur, I would call a who at this point.
But you're right. She's writing, but she's also like writing in a sticky way for like a younger generation.
Yeah. But even someone who's like capturing the young generation is still.
What about Jewel? What about Jewel?
Okay, I think Jewel is a them, but you know what? Maybe she is a poetry then, because that was like, isn't her book of poetry one of the highest selling books of poetry of all time, or something crazy?
What about Lana's spoken word poem album that came
No, we're not talking about Lana's poetry. No poetry collection can compete with The Night Without Armor as a title. I'm sorry.
Okay, I wrote this a long time ago, I will have you know, okay? Okay, all right. I was 16. This was me at 16, kind of, partially. I lied a little bit, exaggerated some other times. I have blonde hair, I pluck my eyebrows, I have my father's nose, my mother's hands. I have crooked teeth. And green eyes. I play guitar. I used to get sick a lot. I like the color of wine. I've cheated on boyfriends. I've owned a fake ID, but my hair is still blonde and my teeth are still crooked, and I probably won't always look like the color of wine. Want me to go on? All right.
Before we move on to Rita, there's an important question Lindsay asked me in the doc, and it is, Do you understand one word of this? And she's referring to this headline from the Daily Mail. Ruby Tuesday Matthews announces she's getting married just weeks after debuting her new boyfriend as she makes fun of that Oystergate scandal in proposal pics. And my answer to you is, Lindsay, yes, I understand every single word.
Can you explicate this? Remember that word? Can you explicate this headline for me?
Yes. So Ruby Tuesday Matthews.
This is, of course, from the Daily Mail Australia, because where else would we be getting such good stuff?
Ruby Tuesday Matthews is an Australian Instagram influencer, okay?
Okay.
And she's not like huge. She has a couple of 100,000 Instagram followers, but it's like enough, right? And she does all of the typical Instagram influencer stuff. Her influencer status has not really been parlayed into like TV stardom, film stardom, music stardom. She's just like, as far as I can tell, she's happy to be a social media influencer, and that's it.
Ruby Tuesday?
Ruby Tuesday.
Like the restaurant?
Matthews. But also the restaurant is named after the song Goodbye Ruby Tuesday.
Right.
See, she's not named after the restaurant.
So she's named after the Rolling Stones song.
Yes, exactly.
Who could blame a name on you? I gotta say, it's kind of ruined by Matthews, like Ruby Tuesday Matthews, you know?
And I have to say, I also think of the restaurant first before I go to the song, but it's important to know that like it's named after the song. Okay. So she is Ruby Tuesday Matthews, and she's engaged to this guy, Shannon Dodd. Shannon Dodd is no one, okay? There's nothing to know about Shannon Dodd. He is the most
His name is
civilian
Shannon
of all
Dodd?
civilians. Shannon Dodd, yes. Shannan, which is a very interesting way to spell Shannon. I've never seen it before. And Oystergate is a scandal from a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, when Ruby Tuesday Matthews got in trouble for, she was flying out of Australia or into Australia. The point is she was at an airport and the flight was delayed. All right? Everyone on the flight is delayed.
Hate that.
Ruby Tuesday, exactly. So Ruby Tuesday decided, well, I have to leave the airport. I'm going to go get like a nice lunch while I wait for this flight to start up. And because she left for lunch, they waited for her to get back on the flight. And people got delayed even more because Ruby Tuesday Matthews was out getting lunch. And what was her lunch? Oysters. Fancy oysters. And she posted the photo on Instagram.
No,
and was
she
like,
did not.
Eating oysters. And they were like, this fucking monster delayed a flight for like hundreds of people because she had to have fancy oysters.
That's so funny.
And she joked about it for a long time. So when she got engaged, she showed off her ring alongside a plate of oysters. Because it's like her number one thing, Oystergate, as she calls it. Another thing that's happening with Ruby Tuesday Matthews right now is something I learned from this headline from pedestrian.tv, my favorite website, which is Goss Insta Aussie influencer opinions is locked in a wild feud with Ruby Tuesday Matthews.
What's Goss Insta Aussie influencer opinions?
Goss Insta Aussie influencer opinions is locked in a wild feud with Ruby Tuesday Matthews. And the feud is as stupid as you would expect. It's very similar to the celeb spell check feud.
So this is an Instagram account called Aussie Influencer Opinions.
Yes.
Got it.
Aussie Influencer Opinions.
Opinions later showed their support towards celeb spell check. Remember we talked about celeb spell check and they stopped doing it. They decided to quit. She was subsequently DM'd by influencer Ruby Tuesday Matthews, who called them a coward and a bully and offered the following thinly veiled threat: "I'd hate to see you in celeb spell check's boat."
These accounts, I think, are toxic and stupid, but like I think a celebrity complaining about them and
Is
like
even worse.
saying that
Come
they're
on.
doing something illegal is also really dumb, because it's like all Aussie Influencer Opinions does is repost things that are already there. So like you can't really bemoan them for like reposting a photo that Ruby Tuesday Matthews
Not to
did.
compare it, but like this pedestrian TV also mentions Demois, and it's like Demois is creating new content versus
Rumors,
these places are just essentially kind of making fun of influencers for posting the content they already post. And it's like celeb spell check was funny because it was like because they were doing stuff where they spelled stuff wrong, and that was kind of
that's how it started.
The slight gag or whatever.
Anyway, that's Ruby Tuesday Matthews, and now she's engaged to Shannon Dodd.
Oh my God, goodbye Ruby Tuesday.
Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang a name on you when you changed with every new day?
Where was she posted what on Instagram? She's the Who Queen. Tens of people want to know all about the number one who. Lindsay, Bobby, tell us now. What's Rita Ora up to?
Who is this woman? Rita hosted an entire Pride party that had incredible attendees, including Demi Lovato and Paris Jackson and Ashley Benson and her friend
Vaz Morgan.
Who's her best friend.
Vaz Morgan, who's like her best friend and comments on everything.
But this spawned, the person who funded this dinner was none other than a company called Booby Tape. That's what killed me. It was like, I was just like, wow, this looks like a nice dinner that Demi Lovato went to that was hosted by Rita Ora. Who paid for it? Booby Tape. Love Without
Booby
Limits.
Tape.
Booby Tape. Hashtag ad. I mean, and
Love Without Limits.
iconically, Rita is wearing a dress that's definitely with the support of some booby tape.
I think that Rita uses booby tape all the time.
I believe it.
I think it's a great partnership. I bet that she was like, oh, I love booby tape. Absolutely. Or whatever. I don't know.
When does Rita not say absolutely to like a sponsored, She's the hostess with the mostest. She's the hostess with the mostest, right? It makes sense.
The wildest news, maybe the wildest Rita news since Taika Waititi, is that her Oliver Twist movie that went like straight to Sky TV that we watched that's terrible is getting an American release. This is the state of cinema right now, that like they're importing Twist and putting it in theaters.
It's getting an American release, but without Rita. Like she's in the movie, but they've erased her from the entire marketing campaign.
It's Michael Caine, Lena Headey, and Lena Headey is not in it much. Like Lena Headey's the villain, but like she's barely.
And they're not even on this poster that they're promoting it with. Ralph Law is on the poster, but his name isn't on the poster. So it's like clearly like they're like de-UKanizing it in a way. They're trying to like pivot it towards an American audience, which means we don't know who Rita Ora is, so we don't get Rita Ora on the cover. Which is
and we don't know who Ralph Law is, so we're not putting Ralph Law's name on there. He could be anyone.
Right.
It's a little disrespectful, but like whatever. I guess I get it.
I get it, but I'm also like, that really says a lot about the way that it really says a lot about the work that we do, and like the people who are like, isn't Rita Ora them now? And I'm like, look at this poster, like not in America, right? It's just very clear when you see this. The market research says that Rita Ora is not selling a movie. She's selling a booby tape. Maybe
she's selling booby tape,
which
yeah.
I
probably
actually
really effectively.
I know. I'm like, kind of want to buy it, but you know what I mean. Like, she's not selling a movie quite yet.
Twist hits theaters July 30th and will be available digitally and on demand the same day. I'll see it in theaters with you, Lindsay.
No, you won't. We will not see this in theaters. We saw it already. It sucked.
What if it's the Draft House and we can like eat popcorn and like?
Oh my God, stop!
Eat queso.
I'll see anything else in theaters. I'd rather watch Professor Pikachu Pokemon again. Detective Pikachu Pikachu again.
That's a really good movie.
I know. It was fantastic. I'd love to see it again. Rita's great in it.
Okay, we're done. Thank you for listening to another episode of Who Weekly. Call in at 619-WHO-THEM to leave questions, comments, and concerns. Thank you to Katie and Eric of the Who's for providing our Rita theme song. Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, please. We love your ratings and reviewings. Support us on patreon.com/whoweekly for twice weekly bonus episodes. And we'll see you on Friday with another episode of Who's There. Bye.
Bye.
You will dream it.
Real. They wanna know.
Hey.
Real.
Hey.
Real. Come on.
Hey. I want to be famous.